Good morning, everybody. I know I've been gone a bit, and my nails I need to do, and yeah, it's been a really crazy month here, and I will describe to you some of what has been going on. Let me get this to focus and bring it down. There we go. Okay. My phone doesn't normally do that. So I have my coffee. Thankfully, everybody's still asleep, but I don't think I have long before my grandson decides to get up. So I am not sponsored by anybody, and I do not get PR packages from FG Normal, although I wish I did. They have some things that I would really like to have that just, yeah, nope, not in the budget. So, because summertime, there is no budget. Air conditioning bills, that's the budget. Anyway, so we're going to diamond paint this color, which is, let me look, number 22. It's the last number. It's the F on the canvas, because I want to get this thing done. I've worked on it and drawn it out and drawn it out and drawn it out. When I placed my order, I ordered 2 diamond paintings and 2 printed cross-stitch kits. They are both Joy Sunday. I didn't know if they would be. Didn't really care. So, here we are. We're off to see the wizard, I guess. So I thought we would do some of this, and I would catch you up on what has been going on. Now, it is going to sound as if I am complaining about my life. Please understand. I am not. I'm not complaining. I am just letting you know why I disappeared for quite a while, and what has been happening and what is happening at this point. So, you all know it's been kind of a tough year for my family with, you know, losing quite a few people. We've had several people that were very close to us develop COVID. Thank God Ashley is awake. She has a lot of therapy to do, but she is going to be a-okay. So thank you, everybody, for your prayers on taking care of her and getting her safe again. I'm telling you, they work. Not to mention a really good hospital staff in San Antonio. Okay? Jill's COVID is gone. That's also a really good thing. She's almost off of at-home oxygen. She still has trouble with the stairs, but she's working on it, guys. She's working on it. So there's those 2. And then you know that at the end of February, I lost my beautiful little fluffy snowflake. That's been a hard one for me. A really, really hard thing to deal with. And then let's get into the month of June. So on June 5th, I got notification that my uncle, my last remaining uncle, passed away on June 2nd. He was very ill, but I'm sad that I did not get the chance to say goodbye. And that his wife decided it was appropriate to not, you know, put us in the notify us right away list, since we're the only remaining Rendleman family. I know that's not my last name. Sorry. But it was my dad's name. And I'm very proud of that name. But there are no more in our direct family. So there's that. That's been pretty hard hitting. But let me tell you, got that news on the 5th and was just trying to deal with it, cope with it. I was crying quite a bit, praying a lot. And then I got a phone call that my little girl, who was pregnant had to be raced to the emergency room. Now, that's all I knew until just before the phone call ended, and I was told she's bleeding. And my response was, come get me now. So, her friend almost flew. If there would have been, flaps on that car, it would have gone up in the air, let me tell you, to get me and get me back there. And then I was so frazzled and worried that me, the coffeeaholic, walked out the door without my travel coffee cup. Yep, it was full, everything, just walked away from it. Mommy brain, She is my youngest child. She is 27 years old, and this was her 4th pregnancy, and it was a surprise pregnancy, not an oops. I don't believe in babies being oopses, and neither did she. We believe that, they're sent to us for a reason. So, that's where that stands. So yeah, I get to the hospital, and her fiance has made it up there, because our concern was, how do we get him there when he's got the kids, the little ones, Charlie, CJ, whatever you want to call him. Thank God his mom and stepdad stepped up, and that way he could come up and see her, and we could find out together what was going on. So he had to explain to me, she's in surgery, Mom. And I went, what happened? And he said, something about her uterus, and she was bleeding really bad. I went, oh my God. So, found the nurse, and what I was told is her uterine ruptured, and there was a lot of blood, and she was in emergency surgery, and at that point, that was all that they knew. So, yeah, that was a big pill to swallow at that moment. But, yeah, it got bigger. Yes, and did it. I did not leave that hospital for 36 hours. And let me explain why. Sarah lost just over half of her body's blood mass. She tanked and crashed, and we almost lost her. I mean, we were moments from losing her, and then they weren't sure if she was slipping into a coma or if she was going to wake up. We didn't know. Nobody knew. So they put her up in ICU. And I'm going, where is her son? Because, my granddaughter, it turned out at the last minute, decided, nope, I'm a boy. So yes, we have a little boy. Another one. She's all boys. And so then they get her up to ICU, and her significant other has to go to another hospital because they were aerovacing my grandchild to the NICU that was best equipped to deal with him. Yes, there was a NICU at that hospital, but for what was wrong, they needed him at a particular NICU. Yeah. Which is neonatal ICU, intensive care unit. Wasn't good. He wasn't breathing on his own. Neither was his mom. And I'll tell you how I found out the rest in a moment as we get through this. So the surgeons came in. Well, when I walked in, Sarah was, oh my God, she was ventilated, tubes everywhere. That is a really hard pill to swallow for a mom who adores her daughter, and, you know, we talk almost every day. Nearly every single day we talk. Yeah, that was a hard one. So they're trying to prepare me for what's going on, and I'm like, just listen. I'm a retired U.S. military nurse. Cardiopulmonary trauma. I have seen some of the worst things you can possibly see. Well, this is your child. Yes, I'm aware. But I'm also her medical power of attorney. You need to get me with her, please. Just tell me where my child is. So her significant other said, okay, Mom, I'll go over, you know, do what I gotta do and I'll be back. I said, no, you stay there with the baby. You take care of your baby. I will take care of my baby for tonight. We'll regroup in the morning. So I got up there, and they were working on her, getting her settled, making sure everything was doing what it was supposed to do. And I have tears running down my face. I've had to tell her brother and sister where we were at. Neither of them took it very well. She's, like I said, she is the baby of the family. And she has these babies that we have to make sure are taken care of in the event that something could go wrong. So we were all on high alert, prepare, what do we need to do? Danny was going to stay at my house. I was willing to take Charlie in a heartbeat, but his other grandparents just wouldn't let go. So I was kind of annoyed by that after a while, but that's okay. It'll get fixed. So after they settled all the IVs and PICC lines and ventilator and feeding tube and, you know, all the stuff that you never ever want to see on your child, I walked over around her and I put my hand on her head and I stroked her hair and I said, it's okay, baby, Mommy's here. And she opened her eyes a little bit and nodded her head. I said, you go back to sleep. She nodded her head again. What turned out to be charge nurse was shocked. They thought that my daughter was comatose until that moment. So they don't know if it's that she was in a coma and woke up when she heard Mom, or if she just didn't know them and wasn't responding to them. Nobody knows. So I stayed there with her for the next 36 hours. And I sat down when I could, you know, when she was just asleep. But if she stirred at all or opened her eyes, because she would look for me, wondering if I was still with her or where was Mommy, then I was on my feet. So I spent probably 32 hours on my feet. Needless to say, I still don't feel good. But anyway, I'll explain that later too, because that comes with kind of an oops. So later on in the night, she had these, you know, mitts on her hands because they don't want them to pull the lines or pull the ventilator out. So, of course, they keep their hands kind of covered. They don't want to tie them down, obviously. That's not good. So they just keep them where they can't grip or do any damage. But Sarah woke up. She fully woke up and she was on massive amounts of medications and fentanyl. So, you know, fentanyl of all things, how is she awake? Through medical fentanyl, through her IV. That's what shocked everybody. And she wanted to be set up a little bit, so that we got the nurses in there and they said it was okay. Let her sit up a bit. By this time I had already talked to a cardiologist, a surgeon or two. There were 8 attendees plus nurses for her because it was bad. Her uterus had ruptured, is what I had been told when I first got into the ICU. And the baby was found outside of the uterus. That's all I knew. So she sat up and she asked for the mitts off, and they made her promise that she would not pull at her trach or any of her lines. And she said, I promise, as best as she could. She was nodding her head and then wanted a pen and paper because she was trying to use sign language, but none of us understood as much sign language as Sarah does. So I understood some of it, but not enough. So they brought her a pen and paper, and she wanted to know when would they take it out, and they told her that they had tried earlier and her oxygen dropped way too low. She couldn't sustain it, so they had to keep it in overnight. They would look at removing it in the morning, depending on how she was doing. Shockingly, this little girl stayed awake for 45 minutes, just, you know, talking to Mom through writing, until I finally said, okay, that's enough, little girl. They're restarting your fentanyl. They have to put a new fentanyl bottle on. You need to go to sleep. And she told me no, and I said, Sarah, please, you can't overdo this. You lost half the blood in your body and you almost died, so I need you to lay down. And she said, okay. And she wanted to know if I was staying. And I said, oh yeah, it'll take an army to get me out of this room. So little did I know that the woman I said that in front of was the charge nurse. Now let me explain to you that CDC guidelines right now is no one other than patients stays past 6 p.m. That's it. No one. Because I am a nurse, still licensed, and because if she was going to be unconscious, somebody had to be there to sign if something went wrong, they allowed me to stay. And I think part of it was Sarah's. She was just not okay if she didn't know I was there. So, and the charge nurse happened to be a mom. She understood. So, I stayed overnight. They made sure I had coffee. I never did sleep. I tried. I dozed off a little bit, but, you know, they're in there every 30 minutes. You're going to wake up. In the meantime, I spoke to the cardiac anesthesiologist, and he said that they had her intubated in 20 seconds, which is a record, because they didn't have time. She was dying. And when they found the baby, they described him as looking like an astronaut on his mom's liver. Yeah, pretty graphic, but without that you won't understand what went down. Why did this baby's leg get broken? They don't know if he broke it or if it was broken trying to get him out to save him. And they almost didn't make it in time. Several surgeons described it to me as if they said it was the worst uterine rupture they had ever seen or dealt with or heard of, and that it looked like a bomb went off from the inside of her uterus. It just exploded. So you would think hysterectomy. No, these surgeons are amazing. They managed to sew her uterus back together. We did do the biligation so that there will be no more pregnancies, because my daughter cannot survive another pregnancy. So it's been a lot. I have my grandson several days a week. I'm trying to keep my daughter from doing too much, and she's not listening because she's back and forth to the hospital with the new baby, because they've not released him yet. He's finally sucking and swallowing from a bottle on his own, which we just had that news yesterday. So he was born on June 8th, and he just now is able to suck and swallow. And he was nearly full term. I mean, he was not even 2 weeks from full term. So, 8 pounds, 11 ounces, 20 inches long, big boy. Blonde hair like his mama's. Very, very beautiful child. But now we're kind of playing a waiting game and waiting to see when he will get to go home to mom and dad and brothers and sisters. It should be soon. We pray that it's soon. But, you know, as resilient as children are, these are big things that take a while to heal. So I just don't know when I will get to meet my grandchild. But if my daughter doesn't sit her butt down and rest more, I may kick it because she's overdoing it. And my fear is that she's going to rip something open inside. She's like, oh, 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh my God, no, this is not a normal C-section. They reconstructed your uterus, child. You're being held together by thread. So, yeah, that's been pretty much the month. And then day before yesterday, I slipped on some kind of liquid and went down on my right side and the back of my head. And so I'm kind of stuck in bed and pretty sore with a 7-year-old. So let me just say, busy, busy, busy lady. So if you're not getting videos, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I want to do a live stream. I want to do videos. It's just really hard to work around kids, emergency hospital visits, children that almost die on you, grandchildren that almost die on you. It's been a lot lately. A lot. My birthday just kind of came and went and didn't really give a shit, truthfully. I did get some very sweet, considerate gifts for my birthday, so I'm very, very grateful for that. And my head is just in the weirdest space right now, you know, trying to figure out what do we do next? What's the road here? How is she going to handle a 1-year-old, a newborn, a 7-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 11-year-old? All while she's still broken. At least partway. That's a tall order if you ask me. She doesn't seem to think so, but I kind of do. So for the summer, I will have my older grandchild, Danny, quite a bit. And every once in a while, I get to have my fatso, my little Charlie. So, I never, ever use their given names on my channel. Just so you are aware, I call them by their nicknames that I give them. So that, you know, there's not a chance of predators identifying my family. It is part of why I came off of camera, because there have been some incidents that have made me take pause over the last couple of years and realized that I needed to be much more protective of my real identity, my location. It's okay to know what city I live in because it's a huge city, so good luck. So yeah, that's kind of how that has gone. I'm praying that there is nothing else bad this month. And at the beginning of July, I have to go in for blood tests and an appointment with my doctor, and she doesn't even know yet that I fell, and I'm probably going to get my head ripped off for it, but, you know, hey, what are you going to do? I wasn't ever supposed to be anywhere near a hospital unless it was a life-threatening emergency. For me, I think she meant, but nope. It was my kid, and sorry, my kids are way more important to me than I am. Please, I know that I have to take care of myself in order to take care of them. I appreciate that, but because that's what people are going to tell me. I've already been here. But in this case, this was one of the worst imaginable situations for a parent. To sit with your little girl who's supposed to be at a moment where she's preparing to go to the hospital and have her baby, and not know if she's going to wake up. Truly. And not know if your grandchild is going to wake up. It was hard. It's still hard. So yes, we have a beautiful boy. I wish that I could show you pictures, but I will not post any pictures until the parents are comfortable with that. And right now, because he is in the hospital, they are not. And I don't blame them. But soon, you'll get pictures of, you know, my little grand monsters. Like, the new one, I call him Ragweed, because he popped up where he wasn't supposed to be. And with parts he wasn't supposed to have. So I jokingly refer to him as Ragweed. You all know that I call the 1-year-old Fatso. And he loves it. And if I don't call him Fatso, he gets upset with me. I don't get it, but okay. It's cute nonetheless, so we're running with it. It's not intended in any negative way. It's just, it's loving. He had a round belly on him when he was an infant, and I think that's how he got the name. And his mommy was big with him, but his mommy was ridiculously big with this new one because she ran out of room, apparently. Now, they do suspect that the placenta had detached prior to the uterine rupture, and that is why this little boy was without enough oxygen for that long a period of time that it caused hypoxia. So it is centered on the motor center of his brain, so he will probably need to have physical therapy throughout his first year or two. If he does not pass his milestones, that's what we're looking at. So, and we're just not taking any chances with him. We never take chances with kids in this family. But when I am allowed, I will post something on my Facebook and my Instagram that shows you my beautiful new grandbaby. And he is the last one. He's it. That's it. No more. Nick's not married. He's 31. No kids. My older daughter is, when she gets married, she will have a stepdaughter. So, yeah. You know, Sarah's got the 2 quote-unquote stepdaughters, and I never called them my grandchildren for a reason. They have both of their biological grandmothers, and that was not something I was going to try to force on a child. That's something that they needed to decide who I was to them on their own, because they're older kids. They're not little kids. They're older. 11 and 13. So, there's that for you. But recently, they have decided that half the time they call me by my name, and it annoys me when a child calls me by my name, but, you know, I deal with it. And the other half the time, I'm grandma. So, grandmom. Sorry. Because they have grandma. They'll probably end up calling me Nonna, knowing how this will go. Or suspecting how this will go. Thankfully, mommy and babies are all safe. We just need to get the last one home from the hospital, so Mom will stop getting up and running around like a crazy person and actually adhere to her bed rest, which I hope her OBGYN tells her you're way overdoing it, and once the child is home, you do need to have some bed rest. Let's hope. Dad has been trying to tell her, but the problem is he sleeps during the day, so she ends up with, most of it on her plate. Now, I will say the 13-year-old is just, and she's gone from being a monster to suddenly becoming a very sweet sister who helps, and she now understands that, I'm not the enemy. I'm actually here trying to help, and that includes with her. So, she's suddenly decided she likes me, and I'm glad. She is a beautiful girl, to the point that we need guns. Because the significant others for this child are going to have some serious things to get through. Not just her father. No. They got to get through her Uncle Nick. They got to get through me. And I seem to be the toughest cookie in the family, according to everybody, including the 13-year-old. She says I'm the tough one. I'm like, you're so full of it. And she's, no. Dad's all bark. Uncle Nick's all bark. You're bite. And I went, yeah, sometimes. She said, but not very often. I said, yeah, you gotta screw it pretty bad. So that's where we are at with my family's update, and I'm just praying nothing else goes wrong for the month of June, because I am overwhelmed at the moment. I'm only filming because the house is quiet enough at the moment, and that won't last long, I promised you. And I wanted to let you guys know what is going on, and that I didn't run away. I didn't try to disappear. We had a lot hit us in a really short period of time that there was no way I could be on YouTube or social media of any sort. I just couldn't. So, I am really sorry I did not run away. I know I lost some people because there were no videos coming out and they thought I quit or something. No, I did not quit. I have a family, and I'm now the eldest member of that family. I've been the matriarch of the family for a very long time, but suddenly being the eldest member of the family it's emotionally and mentally hard for me. Because, it feels like I should still have a dad, uncles, aunt. I never had aunts. Because I don't like my uncle's wife. But I love her. I just don't get along with her. But it just... I came into their lives very late in their lives, and so it didn't work that way. Yeah. That's sometimes just the way it goes, folks. That's okay. I was blessed to get out of the horrible quote-unquote family that I had that was abusive, and get to go live with the family that I loved very, very much, that had always been in my life. But that was a great thing for me, and it really shaped me, and it's probably why I don't see blood as such a big factor in family. Yes, I want grandchildren that are my bloodline, because being adopted, I don't know my family from before me, except for my adoptive family, my dad's family. And so, you know, for some reason we make good-looking babies. So let's just, you know, we passed a little bit of that on. But it would have been nice if there had been, you know, just another gorgeous little girl like my daughters. So that didn't happen. It was supposed to. I have the ultrasound picture, but she's not there. There better not be any more in there. Good Lord. But that's been what's been going on. So, long stories. Sorry to have to bring you some not so nice news. I never enjoy being the arbiter of bad news, but the bad news was just that we went through some hard stuff. The good news is it is improving as much as is possible. We're one step away from me being able to take a breath about my daughter and grandchildren. Right now, I'm still just really, really, really on edge. And I think any of you would be too. I am catching up on some crime stuff. So I will be doing a whip and chat of some sort. Probably stitching. And chatting to you about what I have learned about some of these current cases. Older ones, updates, and some newer cases that are a bit bothersome for me. I'm being polite, sorry. But that's because these are things that not everybody has time to look into, and, you know, it's good for people to know what's going on in the world, and maybe I can present it in a less graphic and more palatable fashion. Sometimes it might be a little graphic, but if it's going to be, I will give you warnings at the beginning of everything to let you know, hey, this content, not for young ears at all. Now, I do not do my channel for people under the age of 18, that's for sure. But you know, it just, I try to be respectful that grandkids can be around, kids can be around. Obviously, I have kids running around. Oh my goodness, for one weekend we had my oldest daughter's soon-to-be stepdaughter, along with my grandson Dante, and, no. Danny and she are a holy terror when they are together. They're both bossy A-type personalities, and, well, that right there tells you everything. They clash. So, they love each other, but they clash. It's always an adventure, and right now I'm too sore for the adventure. Oh, by far I'm way sore. That floor was hard. Ugh. I knew I saw it. Oh, there it is. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's been going on. The puppies are doing well. They are being the Eskies, being cute. In fact, Chrissy is sleeping behind me. Ladybug is sleeping with her belly up in the air on the end of the bed. Spirit is laying down on his puppy pillow. And Spooky is in with my son. So, there you are. Oh, and Bonnie is visiting right now. So, we have a very full house. Let me just say, a very full house. I had 2 days off from my grandson, and the first one I just was exhausted and basically caught up on sleep, apparently. and couldn't focus, so didn't do anything. I don't even remember what the TV shows were that I watched. YouTube videos, whatever they were. No clue. That's how exhausted my brain and body were from chasing him. But then I fell the next day, so, and then he came yesterday. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I really wasn't expecting him back yesterday. I was expecting it to take a day or two, but that's okay. That's okay. We deal with it. We always try to. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to tell you. Because this is just a life update video, and let you know that I am working on FG Normal, but no, it was not. This was not sent to me to review by the company by any means. I wish. They have some things I would really like to review, but just cannot afford to purchase and review. And I think that my channel is just far too small for them. If you have gotten this far and you are not subscribed, please, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified. Select all so you get all the notifications, because when things start to settle down, it's going to be too hot to go anywhere near the outdoors. It already is, but nonetheless, it's going to get worse. We already broke 118 here. We've never done that in June. So, I expect this to just be a horrifying summer with ridiculous electric bills. I mean, our next month's bill is $400 for our electricity, so that's out there. And I'm really upset about it. They did their normal summer price hike, and it really angers me. That's gouging, and I don't like it. But there isn't anything you can do. You've got to have electricity, because there's no solar panels on this house. Even though I wish there were. I keep trying to get my son to talk to the landlord about it. But getting him to do what he doesn't want to do is, like, not going to happen. Anyway. What else? Oh, once it calms down, then I will be back to doing videos more frequently, which I'm looking forward to, having a day where I can just compile a bunch of videos for you, have them in the bank of videos, and release them, you know, on a regular basis for you all. But, yeah, this month, filming, no, not so much. Not able to. This will be going out the day I'm filming it, because I'm not even going to edit this. I'm just going to toss this up there for you guys so that you have an immediate amount of information as to what is going on. Because I know some of you really do care about what happens to my family. And I just want you to know we've had it pretty rough. But thank the Lord, everybody is still with us. And we're going to have some long-term things to deal with the new grandbaby. But overall, he will be fine. He's just going to need a little extra help for a while once his leg heals. So, yeah, there's that. First broken bone in our body, and it happens as he's trying to come into the world. There you go. Nobody else, not me, not my kids, have ever had broken bones. So this is new. Yep. There you go. He's probably going to be a pretty rough and tumble kid. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be the gamer like his dad. Who knows? Who knows? As long as he's healthy and happy and living a life that does no harm to himself or others, and tries to put something decent out into this world, I'm good. I'm happy with that. In fact, I'm really happy with that. So, pretty easy. So, here we are. We're doing this little coffee time. I wanted a little one that I could hang up for my coffee, and my son said I could hang it up by my coffee pot, but it was not where I wanted it. It would get dirty. So it's going to go up in here, and believe it or not, strangely enough, the space between the edge of my window and my wall that holds my puppy diamond paintings and pictures is exactly 30 centimeters, apparently, because this fits perfectly. So yeah, there's that. Excuse me. But I am going to let you go. I need you to please understand that I am so sorry that I have not been here and I've not been able to be reached or reach out to anybody. I'm so sorry. My thoughts and prayers are with all of you, and they always, always are. But if you are in a position where you need some special prayers right now, please, please, just let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. I would love comments from you all. I would just love to get, you know, more than 1 or 2 comments on a video. It would be great. It really would, especially when we're having a lot we're trying to deal with. So, I hope that all of you are safe and not having all of this insanity going on for your family. But if you are, I feel you. My heart is with you because I'm there myself. But I will talk to you all in the next one, okay? Bye-bye.